All right, what's up, guys? Shea Bell here. We're in our facility in Fort Collins, Colorado, and we're going to be going over the separation, the sequence, the rotation of the swing here in this video. Okay, so we're going to start by showing you guys exactly what that means, what we're trying to accomplish in our swing as we do that, and then we're going to dive into some pro hitters and show you exactly what that looks like from some of the best hitters in the world, okay? Guys like Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, all those elite hitters, and what's happening during the rotation part of their swing, their separation there as we go, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into what is separation, what is a sequence, what is a rotation, right? So when we hit, we want to rotate and accelerate, and then we want to decelerate. Okay, so it's part of the kinetic chain. Okay, so what that means is we want to rotate hips, torso, hands, bat. Okay, and lead arm, I guess, for the hands there as we go. So what that looks like is I hopefully just had a good load and a stride here. Okay, so if you don't know what a good load and stride looks like, check out our other video. Okay, it's another pillar of hitting. It's another top mechanic that all MLB hitters have, okay? But we just strided to a good launch position. Now, what happens from there, okay? So what happens from there is we should rotate from our hips first. We want our explosion to happen from the lower half here, okay? So we're rotating our hips there. We're doing that by kind of externally rotating our front leg, which just means we're turning the knee kind of towards the pitcher. Okay, so that's happening from our glutes out here. It's happening from our obliques, okay? It's happening from the outside part of our leg here, okay? The abductors of the leg. So what that means is I'm basically turning my hips here. I'm turning my belt buckle from the front side there as it pulls my backside towards that ball there, okay? Once I get to my max separation position, it should start to then pull my torso through, okay? So, but until then, my back foot's staying anchored, everything's staying nice and strong over that back leg. Our back leg now gets peeled off once our torso starts to turn during the rotation, okay? So I'm separating my hips from my torso there as we go into the swing, okay? So now what happens when my torso goes to hit? Okay, so I just separated everything. My hips got to kind of that max separation position. My torso hasn't moved yet. I now want to feel my torso start to get pulled by the hips a little bit. Okay, and I'm now going to make sure I maintain my rotation axis. Okay, so there's just my tilt, my posture as I go through it. Okay. So I'm going to now start to open that torso with my left elbow kind of going up a little bit here and presenting high towards that ball. My hands and my knob are going to kind of replace my elbow almost. They're going to start to turn with that torso. They haven't thrown yet. They haven't released yet. Okay. They're turning with the torso there, connected to that shoulder there as I go. Okay. My knob, my chest start to get presented forward. And I now will let the hands release and extend through the ball if that is what the ball tells me to do, right? So if I'm early, if it's an outside pitch, if I really got to let that barrel release and go to the ball, I'll let those hands extend. If I'm late, if it's inside, I'll keep those hands tight and connected to the body there as we go. Okay, so one more time, quick inversion here. I'm rotating my hips first. Okay, I'm rotating my torso second. I'm then letting my hands accelerate and go through extension and letting my barrel kind of flip as I get to that point as well. Okay, so that's the separation, that's the rotation, that's the sequence of the swing there. And we will just slow it down in reverse order, okay, or in the same order, I guess, okay? So it's hips will rotate and torso goes, then barrel starts, or hands start to go. The hips are now decelerating, okay? As the hands release and go, the chest will now start to decelerate a little bit there as we release it and go, okay? So I know there's a lot of moving parts during that part of the swing. The rotation is one of the separation, the kinetic chain, one of the most important parts of the swing. If you do not have that sequence, you're not going to have success at the next level. So make sure we completely understand that. Okay. And to help you understand that, we're going to dive into some pro hitters here. Some guys like Mookie Betts, Ohtani, Judge, all those guys. We're going to dive into it. We're going to show you exactly what it looks like. We're going to try to create some illustrations for you to really get you guys to have an elite understanding of the rotation and what we're trying to accomplish. All right, so we're taking a look at Lindor's swing here and taking a look at his rotation, his sequence here as we go into it. Okay, so I'm just going to let it play through. And then we'll take a look at kind of what we see. Okay, so big thing here I want you to see, guys, as we talked about in the video or earlier in the video, is the rotation, the sequence of the swing should be hips, torso, hands, barrel, right? So I want you to really look at kind of the hips here. Okay, so if we look at the hips and then we look at the back foot. Okay, so first, we're going to look at the hips here. So you can see they're opening there. Okay, that front hip is really sitting down and back into his hip rotation there. Okay, so that left butt cheek's going down and back there as we go. Okay, so now I want you guys to look at that again here, and we can see clearly his back foot's on the ground, right? His back heel's on the ground. Okay, so now I'm going to go and show how the back heel doesn't come off the ground roughly until about this point. It starts getting peeled off the ground there as we go. Okay, so our hip rotation starts from kind of our glute here, okay, our piriformis, which is on the outside of the leg there, basically the outside of the front leg there, the obliques, the core there. That's where the hip rotation kind of starts its rotation there as we go, and we sit down into the ground as that starts to happen. Okay, so we're trying to feel that, which then starts to pull and turn on the backside, which peels the back heel off the ground. Okay, that then begins working through the core. You can see the wrinkles in his jersey there. Okay, begins working through his core and up through his torso there. Okay, so you can see as he's working here, okay, the hips are turning the torso there into that. His arms are still back. They're still bent, right? We still see that bent angle there in the back arm. So the hands aren't really extending or working yet. We're turning through this lead arm here from our core, from our legs there as we go into it, which is pulling and torquing that forward there. Okay, you can still see the barrel is back behind the body there as we go. Okay, so it's hips, torso, lead arm, then barrel. Okay, so the lead arm's getting torqued forward, and now the barrel is presenting. Look how late that barrel kind of accelerates and speeds forward, right? That ball is right on the catcher there, right on the plate, and the barrel's still back behind there, and now it presents forward late. Okay, so that is the hip rotation there. Okay, that is the sequence of the swing. That is what we want to do when we rotate there through the ball. Okay, it's hips, specifically the front hip kind of starts it, pulling through the core there, up through the torso, through the lead arm, and that then pulls and torques on the barrel to act late in the swing there and deliver late in the swing there as we go. Okay, so that's kind of the front view. We're going to now go take a look at a side view here for you guys as well. All right, so now we got Mookie here, and we're showing kind of the side view, and I'll just let it kind of play, and then we'll go back through it slow motion. Okay, so we're looking at kind of as he gets to his full stretch position here, you can see this front hip opens and starts to explode there as he rotates into his front side. Okay, the torso, the lead arm, everything stays back as he's going into it here. Okay, it's then turning through the core and pulling the torso open, which then pulls this lead arm forward and then the barrel will present late there as we go. Okay, so again, it's lead hip, okay, and hips there, going up through the core, which then pulls the torso and that front shoulder, okay, which then pulls the lead arm, torquing it forward, rotating it forward there as it goes. And then finally, the barrel and the extension happen there through the swing. Okay, so when we look at the swings from these pro guys, it's really every single hitter is going to have the same sequence, the same separation, the same kind of hip rotation as they go. The degree of separation they get might be a little bit different. Say a guy from like Mookie might get more separation than say a guy like Jordan Alvarez or Vladimir Guerrero or something like that. But they all start their swing from the hips, working up through the core, through the torso, through that lead arm, into the hands, and then the barrel, right? So that sequence is non-negotiable. It's something that has to happen in the swing to have success. All right, so we just took a look at some of the best hitters in the world, okay, what their rotation looks like, what their separation looks like, how their kinetic chain works, okay? So simple form here is we go hips, we go torso, we go hands, we go barrel, okay? That's the sequence of the swing there as we do it. We want to make sure that we're not leaking forward as we go into it. We want to make sure we're not just spinning and losing our ground anchor as we do it. We want to make sure that I'm not losing my posture as I do it, right? So those are all some things to really work on and keep an eye out for. So hopefully you guys have a high understanding of it. Go ahead and check out our programs for it too. The 5 Pillars of Hitting program. Okay, it's going to take you through several drills. It's going to give you a structured program to try to get all 5 pillars of hitting down. And if you don't know what all 5 pillars are for us, you make sure you check out those videos as well. Okay, but I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.